locked up. It wasn't Blender's fault, it was definitely my computer, but at least I managed to save my recording but not my project, which is weird because Blender's supposed to autosave like every 2 minutes or whatever. Save versions. Maybe I'll bump that back up to 2. Recent files, 10. Autosave temporary files, yeah, every 2 minutes. So I don't know why it wasn't able to save it, because if I try to recover autosave, I just get these and none of them. Oh wait, maybe this one. Or is that from now? Yeah, it's from now. So yeah, I wasn't able to recover this at all. So Blender is not auto-saving in the daily build apparently. Interesting. So I get to do everything over. So I'm just gonna pause the video and do that all over. The only adjustments I'm gonna make is I'm gonna stretch these sides over further. Just one little thing to note, by doing the steps before and actually mirroring the treads, we've got the perfect profile here. It fits the tire just perfectly. It wraps around perfectly. That's exactly what I needed and wanted. So that is beautiful in my opinion. So that's going to work out well. But I'm going to keep going back to where we were. So remember the golden rule, save often, save always. So just where we were from, yeah, I just inset every face 0.02 and then I select it and I grab along the Z, tap it twice for the normal Z and 0.05. So grab along this normal Z, ZZ, 0.05. Oops, I have screencast keys off. Save again. I've saved about 5 times in the last 5-10 minutes. Save always, saved often. So yeah, that really fits the profile nicely. If we even go into wireframe, grab it along with Z and move it down just a hair, and then go back into solid, you can see it just wraps around the tire beautifully. So I'm gonna go back to adding that material, that tread material, because it didn't save that obviously. Rubber.matte, nice dark gray for now. Alright, cool. So that is the start of our treads. I haven't really made any differences from here other than the fact that, like I said, I extended these a little bit further down. I didn't want to go too far. I didn't want this extending way onto the wall, but I extended it a little bit since it's an aggressive tire. And yeah, in retrospect, I realized that you could have done all this on the original tire, but I like to have a backup whenever I can in an instance like this, so that if I mess it up, I don't screw up my mesh that I'm working on. So anyways, now we need to get this tread wrapped around and looking nice all the way around the tire. Before we get to that point, I just want to mention that any changes we make to the treads we can do after. So for now, just leave them the way they are. I know they don't look perfect in all views and in all instances, but we can adjust it all later. So for now, we're happy that the origin point of the tire, this piece right here, and these are at the same place. Actually, I gotta do that. So Control-Shift-C, origin to 3D cursor, make sure it's at the center. Yeah, so as long as your tread and the tire have an origin point at the same place, you're golden. But that is a very, very important thing to note. If it's not, this isn't going to work at all. And anything using an array when you want to stretch it around something will not work if the origin points are not near or at the exact same point. Just a little helpful hint. Oh, and also I just wanted to add that when I did it again, I was able to inset these side ones. Ooh, you can see they're still above a little bit. So yeah, a little bit of tweaking will be needed, but we can do that after we do the array and it will propagate around to everything. Anyways, so it's not a perfect, if I go to what view, maybe right view, yeah, you can see how it's inset. So that worked out on both sides If I go to left view, you can see the same thing. So yeah, that worked out well. So everything's not a perfect 90 just straight up. It's a nice, well, tire tread looking. So just another thing to note. And I also realized, just in retrospect again, that I don't think we needed to do all the instanced copies that were mirrored and stuff. All we needed to do was make one and then just mirror it when we moved it over. So, whatever. Learn from your mistakes. So to get them to wrap all the way around, we're obviously going to be using our guide here, and we're also going to be doing an array modifier, obviously, but we don't want them all to look exactly the same. So what we're going to do is let's duplicate what we have here. So not an instanced, not a link duplication, just a regular duplication. So in object mode, Shift D, right click, and then I'm going to grab along the Y. About there, I'd say, and now I'm gonna, again, it looks exactly the same, so I'm gonna mirror it. So you could use the mirror option, or I'm just gonna simply scale x -1. That'll mirror it too, but that's not working out. Let's scale y -1. That brings me back to the same problem. Undo, 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 redo. All right, let's try the mirror option. Lock the Z. Oh, is it maybe because of my 3D cursor? My pivot point. Let's go to medium point and see what happens. So I'm gonna grab this along the Y, scale along the X, -1. Maybe I didn't set up this tread very well is the problem. That is probably my issue. Because, yeah, well, I could, scale y -1. And then, I basically just want it all to fit together. I just don't know if it's going to. Like I said, I don't think I designed this tread very well. So undo that. I need to flip it so that that's there, but I can't think of a way to do that. I'm just messing around here trying to think of how I'm going to do this. There we go. I guess, yeah. A global Y mirror. Enter. So whatever I did there.
You're a shower tonight or in the morning?
So I'm just going to grab this down and set the distance that I want my array to have along the Y here. As close as possible, but I want to leave a little bit of gap. Yeah, see, I should probably go and make another piece for right there, but I'm not too worried about it. It should look fine. I can always add it later, but I would maybe like take the knife tool again on my profile. This is why I like having it, and cut out an extra little piece and then move it into place there. But we'll see what this looks like. So I'm happy with that for now. We just want to rotate it, however, so that not against the 3D cursor, or on the 3D cursor maybe. Nope. Oh, because of my origin point, right. So let's set the origin point to 3D cursor and let's rotate it. We want to get it so it's, maybe I'll set the origin to geometry. I want to rotate it so that it's in the actual wheel. So this is just a little bit of a guessing game. And then grab along the local Z again. So not Z, but tap Z again to get the local Z. Ooh, or normal Z. Sorry, okay, that's not going to work. It thinks of the local Z's that way. Let's try this. Grab along the Z, Y, would have guessed that that is right? Well, just grab along the normal Z, or the global Z, I guess. So I'm just going to suck it down into the wheel a little bit. I'm going to go into this view to do that, or back view actually. So I'm going to go to wireframe, and I just want everything inside of it. So I'm going to grab along the Z, suck it down a little bit. Actually, it's easier when it's solid. Get everything in there just a little bit. Let's check the sides out. Is it intersecting? I don't think so, not perfectly, but it shouldn't matter. Otherwise we can just scale it down after, which we'll probably have to make some edits anyway. And I'm just going to hide that temporarily. That is tread 001. Just going to hide that temporarily and make sure this one's the same. Make sure it's intersecting. So I'm going to go to front view for that and grab along the Z. Just make sure everything's sitting inside of the tire. Beautiful. Alright. Turn tread 001 back on. Make sure the height's roughly the same. I'm just going to tilt my head for that. It looks like this one had to be sucked in more than the other, but what can you do? Pull it back out. Or I could rotate it a little bit. Probably rotate it. I probably didn't rotate it enough. So now I'm just simply going to join those into one object. So Control J. So now we have treads as one object. So let's set up an array modifier. So again, making sure that this still has an origin point right directly in the center. Move the cursor to center. Ooh, it doesn't. So Control Shift C, origin to 3D cursor. And the same with your tire, same exact origin, so perfect. So we're going to go to our treads, add a modifier, and we're going to add an array modifier. And we don't want it in that direction, we want it one. So I'm just going to make instant duplications, instanced, not regular duplications, instanced duplications of the original, and then I'm rotating it 25 degrees along the X. So I'm just going to continue doing that. So Alt-D, right-click, rotate, -25, and I'm just going to continue doing that over and over, making sure I'm pressing Alt-D. The cool thing about instance duplications is they use up less memory than if you were to make normal duplications. If you were to use this for a render, it would save you on huge amounts of memory. But anyways, that does not line up. I need one more copy of the original tread. So I guess I could try making a normal duplication. So Shift D, right click, rotate along the X, -25 or 25, I guess. No, -25. So yeah, 25 degrees. Doesn't quite line up, so I'm gonna rotate it back a little. Ooh, it doesn't fit at all, and you would notice that. I'm gonna make sure that's on the bottom, and I'm just gonna delete this extra bit. There, that's close enough for a first try. I just wish they were bigger is the only problem. I could scale it along the Z. Ooh, I got extra verts. I could scale it along the Z. I think I might do that. Just play with it a little bit. Maybe I'll time lapse this again. So what did I do? Scale along the normal Z. 1.5, 1.75. 1.75 looks pretty good. Let's do it to the rest and see what happens. This is where instants are beautiful. So Scale ZZ 1.75. Looks a bit more aggressive. It wraps around a little too much though. That's no issue on this side because that won't show, but this side it definitely will. So I'm gonna go into edit mode and I'm gonna delete most or some of these. So I'm gonna delete maybe the first two faces. Delete all this extra geometry. Yeah, that leaves me room to do the texturing. I might even go one more actually. Now I'm just gonna fill these faces back in. So this is the fun part. How am I gonna do this? I'm gonna have to guess essentially. Unless I undid what I just did and deleted everything more carefully. Don't delete that. Don't delete that. Then just fill those back in. That I like better. Cool. Now I just gotta do it to the uninstanced one. Too far? Nope, I don't think so. That one needs to be rotated though, I think. Maybe not. Just the rest all line up like that. This one doesn't. Why is that? Oh, that's because I undid my deletion I just did. Now what the heck is going on? Oh yeah, I forgot I made an accidental duplicate. Alright, delete these. Fill these back in. Alright, does that fit the bill? I think that fits the bill. Let's delete that extra duplication. Still think that they should stick. This is what I'm talking about with the negative space. It really looks untire-like. I definitely should have spaced them closer together. And in retrospect, I would redo this. I will redo it and move them a lot closer. But this shows you generally just how to do it. But I'm going to take the original here. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to scale it up even more along the normal Z. 1.5 maybe? No, that's going to start to distort it. It's about as far as I can go, is 1.4 or so. I don't know if I like the look of that. Let's do it to this one and see. Oh, you know what? It's my origin point still. I keep forgetting to set that 3D cursor. So scale along the Z. No, can't go any bigger. Good enough for me. It was a good practice. Like I said, I can always make a new tread after. So let's texture the tire now. I'm going to give it a material. You know what? No, I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna keep the material the way it is. All these treads I'm gonna parent to an empty first. So at the middle, I am going to, well, first I'm gonna save. I'm gonna add an empty plane axis. Scale it up. And that empty I'm gonna call for instance treads, and then I'm gonna take all the treads, those ones. La, 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 la. Selecting my empty last, and then hit Control P, set pair to object. Alright, now I can hide that empty. But if I ever needed to, I could always grab the empty and move it. Like I said, if I wanted to create different treads for this. So let's go ahead and unwrap this tire now. So in fact, I am going to hide these. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go one at a time, aren't I? Nope. I'm just gonna move this, grab along the Z, -5. Perfect. Alright, hide that empty. So let's UV, I'm gonna hide these guides. What else do we got hiding in there that I don't need right now? I can hide the hub, the nuts, the rim, this guide. I think that's everything. Looks like it. Yep. I can hide these for now. Got a lot of objects in here. Usually I'm a very organized person, but so yeah. Now I'm gonna UV unwrap the tire. So I'm just gonna save my video file and this, and then we'll get to UV unwrapping.